Before candy corn and store-bought masks, Halloween was a night of fire, whispers, and fate. And one of the strangest rituals began, not in a haunted mansion or a witch's den, but with a bowl of water. And a few apples. Because, believe it or not, this simple little party game once decided who you'd marry. Just stop and show us some support by subscribing us. Would you try a love ritual like that? Just for one night?
Would you try a Halloween love ritual? Yes, no.
To understand why apples became symbols of love and prophecy, we have to travel back, long before Halloween even had a name. Over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Celts celebrated Samhain, the end of harvest, and the beginning of the dark half of the year. It was a night when the veil between worlds grew thin, when spirits wandered freely and the living could speak with the dead. Fire was their protection. Great bonfires were lit on the hills, and people carried home embers to light their hearths anew. But amidst that fire and fear, there was something else, hope, because Samhain wasn't just about death, it was about renewal, destiny, and love. And at the center of many Samhain traditions was the apple, a fruit believed to hold the secrets of the other world. When the Romans conquered Celtic lands, they brought with them their own goddess, Pomona, the guardian of fruit and orchards. Her sacred symbol, the apple. When the old Celtic beliefs mingled with Roman customs, their festivals intertwined. Fire and fruit, fate and fertility. And from that union, the first Halloween love games were born. By the Middle Ages, apple games weren't mere entertainment, they were rituals of prophecy, whispered about in kitchens and taverns. Young women believed the apple could reveal their true love, the person they were destined to marry. One popular version: each girl would carve her crush's initials into an apple, place them all into a bowl of water, and wait. The first apple to float to the surface or drift toward her was said to carry the name of her future husband. There was even a more daring version, Snap Apple Night. Apples were hung on strings from a beam, sometimes spinning beside a lit candle. You had to bite the apple with no hands, pause, small laugh, miss your mark, and you might get a face full of hot wax. It was romantic, a little dangerous, and in true Victorian fashion.
Would you dare try Snap Apple Night?
In the Victorian era, fortune-telling games were the highlight of Halloween parlor parties. This was an age obsessed with the supernatural, seances, spirit photography, and secret codes with the dead, and yet, in parlors filled with lace and laughter, the apple became a prop for love magic. They said if you could peel an apple in one long, unbroken strip and toss it over your shoulder, it would land in the shape of your future lover's first initial. And if you placed your bobbed apple under your pillow that night, you'd dream of the person you were meant to marry. Imagine that, falling asleep to the scent of fresh autumn apples, hoping your dreams might whisper a name. Even the apple itself was thought to be enchanted. Slice one crosswise and you'll see a perfect 5-pointed star inside. A pentagram symbolizing the 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. To the Victorians, that hidden star was a secret sign of love and luck. It wasn't just fruit, it was a message from the universe.
Would you trust an apple peel to tell your future?
As Halloween crossed the Atlantic with Irish and Scottish immigrants in the 1800s, these old-world games came along for the journey. In America, they mixed with colonial harvest festivals and Christian All Hallows' Eve. And the result was a new, distinctly American Halloween. But traces of the old magic lingered. In rural New England and the Midwest, young people gathered for Snap Apple Nights, their laughter echoing in barns and candlelit parlors. Old diaries tell of bowls filled with floating apples, each one marked secretly with the initials of a sweetheart. Whichever apple was caught first would reveal who'd wed next. Some parties even used apple fortune races, where each guest chose an apple and set it afloat in a bowl. The apples would drift and bump in the water, and the first 2 that touched, their owners were destined for love. And for those who didn't find their apple match, there were plenty of other love charms to try. In Ireland and Scotland, apples weren't the only tools of fate. People used mirrors, nuts, and candles to glimpse the face of their future spouse. On All Hallows' Eve, a young woman might stand before a mirror, holding a candle in one hand and an apple in the other. As she brushed her hair at midnight, she was said to see her future husband's reflection appear behind her, unless a spirit came instead. Many refused to try that one twice. Others tossed apple skins into a fire, believing the curling smoke would spell out the name of their true love. And in some Scottish towns, they baked special cakes with tokens hidden inside, rings for marriage, coins for luck, and buttons for lifelong singlehood. These weren't just games, they were the ways people made sense of fate in a world where mystery ruled the night. By the late 19th century, the holiday was changing. Urban life and printed decorations brought in a new kind of Halloween. More parties, fewer bonfires, less superstition. But apple bobbing endured. In the 1920s, it became a wholesome staple of fall festivals. Photos from the time show flappers in satin dresses, laughing as they dunked for apples, a flirtatious, messy echo of a ritual that once invoked gods. Even as Halloween grew brighter and more commercial, with orange crepe paper, store-bought masks, and penny candy, that bowl of apples remained a familiar centerpiece. It was a link to the old world, where people believed love, luck, and destiny could rise from the water's surface. And maybe, in a way, it still does. Because every time we dunk our faces in cold apple water, we echo something ancient. The Celts believed Samhain was a liminal night, a doorway between worlds. Perhaps those apples still carry whispers from the other side. Maybe it's not just a silly game after all, but a faint reflection of the rituals that bound us to nature, to love, and to each other. So the next time you see a bowl of floating apples at a Halloween party, pause for just a moment, listen to the laughter, the splashing water, the shimmer of candlelight on red skins, because beneath that playful surface lies something much older, a memory of a world that believed fate could be tasted. You're not just playing a game, you're taking part in a 2,000-year-old ritual once used to divine love, fortune, and destiny. Would you still try it, knowing that?
Would you tempt fate this Halloween? Yes, no, only if it's romantic.
Here's the eerie part. Not every apple game was so innocent. In parts of rural Scotland, some believed that apples could trap a person's soul. If one rotted too quickly after being named, it meant your sweetheart would die young. Others warned never to play apple games near a graveyard. The spirits might take your reflection instead of your fortune. And in Wales, girls were told to walk backward toward a stream under the new moon, bite into an apple, and let the water carry away the core. If the name of their beloved echoed faintly in the sound of the stream, the love was meant to last forever. If not, they were doomed to loneliness. Every village had its version, some sweet, some sinister, all of them reminders of how deeply people tied love and fate to the cycles of the earth. I fast forward to the 1940s and 1950s, the so-called golden age of Halloween in America. By then, apple bobbing had shed nearly all its mysticism. It was an innocent, giggling tradition for children and partygoers. But even then, a faint echo of old fears remained. Newspapers from the 1930s warned parents to inspect Halloween apples carefully, fear of tampering and razor blade. Myths turned the once magical fruit into a symbol of modern anxiety. It's almost poetic. How something once used to reveal love became something feared for hidden harm. Symbol of trust turned into a symbol of suspicion. Yet the ritual, endured, because deep down we like to tempt fate, even in small ways. That's what Halloween has always been, a dance between safety and superstition, between laughter and the unknown. And maybe that's why stories like these still resonate. When you peel back the candy wrappers and plastic masks, Halloween is about something timeless, the thrill of mystery, and the yearning to know what lies ahead. For the Celts, that meant reading fate in apples and flames. For Victorians, it meant tossing peels and dreaming of initials. For us today, it might mean scrolling through old legends on glowing screens, but the impulse is the same. We still wonder who we'll love, how our story ends, and whether fate is already written. So, when you dunk your head into that cold bowl of water, or just smile at the sight of kids doing it, remember, you're looking at a ritual that survived wars, migrations, and centuries of change. It's proof that some stories, like love, never really die. So, tell me in the comments, If you could bring back one forgotten Halloween ritual, which would you...
Which would you choose? Apple popping, mirror divination, or love charms?
Of your own. I want to hear your story, because every time someone tells these old tales, they live again, whispered between the past and the present, just like Halloween itself.